Have you ever went through trying to figure out how do you do better than your competitor? Who is my competitor? What are they doing? And how can I compete against them? Well, folks, that's the conversation we're going to have here today on Self Love Monday. How you guys doing? This is Ron Simplified Myers, author, podcaster, and your uplifting life partner. Now, who is your competitor? I had a gentleman one time on Facebook that actually, and I probably shouldn't be saying names of programs, but anyway, he befriended me. And he told me after he got on, at that time, one of the programs I was offering was organic coffee. And so he hit me and said, hey, we're actually competitors because he was actually doing another organic coffee company. And I instantly informed him, I said, I don't have any competitors. I said, because I have a belief that the people that are supposed to do business with me will do business with me. The people that are supposed to do business with you will do business with you. And he was like, oh man, he said, I knew there was a reason I wanted to be your friend. And folks, that's really kind of what I'm getting to here. I've talked about before about an abundance mentality and a lack mentality. People that live in a lack mentality, and unfortunately, a lot of people live there. And we're talking about some of the people who are actually billionaires that have a lack mentality. And what do I mean by lack? Is they believe there's only a certain amount of resources, and the more resources that you and I get, then the less resources they have. And I remember I was sharing that with a young lady one day, and she's like, yeah, because I know I don't be sharing information. She said, because shoot, there's not that much. And I was sharing this example with her. I told her, I said, that's a lack mentality. She thought she was understanding where I was coming from. And I said, no, that's a lack mentality. Because you believe sharing your knowledge and information with others means less that you can actually receive yourself. In other words, there's only $100 in the world. And so since there's only $100, the more of that you get, then of course, I mean, I get where you're coming from. Logically, that means less of the 100 that they can get, right? So that's why they're going to keep that information from you. But a person with an abundance mentality understands that there's unlimited resources. And therefore, they don't have a challenge with sharing information. Matter of fact, what projects can we do together where you use your talent and I use my talent and we can both reap some great benefits from this? That's an abundance mentality. And unfortunately, very few people actually live there. And so that's really the conversation that I was having with this gentleman when I was saying, I'll get the people that I'm supposed to get as you will get the people that you're supposed to get, because I believe there is abundance, there is unlimited resources, way beyond what the world is trying to teach us and teaching us to fight against each other and go against each other and think that and pull against people, and actually instead of being excited when people receive things in their life, knowing that they just showing you what is possible. So anyway, so the competitor actually is you. And some of that competition and things you have to overcome is actually the thoughts, the programming that has come from outside sources, outside people. Now, I started the other day talking about being aware that if you ask yourself, and this was after I listened to, it's called The Greatest, what is The Greatest Gift by Rhonda Byrne. Powerful, powerful. If you get a chance, check it out. But I actually listen to it on Audible. I do that stuff while I'm driving. As I've told you guys, I'm always looking at other things and reading other things. But anyway, and the awareness is what she was talking about, which is real, real powerful. That if you tell yourself, am I being aware? So that means when any thought crosses your mind, because see, this is kind of, and I've talked about this before about the voice. You're not the voice. And so the thoughts that are going on in your head are stuff that's come from TV, family, friends, coaches, this video and other videos and all that. That's where all the thoughts are coming from. So those things are running all the time. So what's also running all the time that most of us haven't understood is the awareness. Awareness is always operating in the background. And by awareness, what I'm saying here is if you say, am I being aware? The moment you ask yourself, are you being aware, you instantly take yourself away from the thoughts you were having. Because like she said, which made a lot of sense, because I was one of those people that had a hard time meditating, because like she said, because what people do is they spend their time trying to get thoughts to stop thoughts. So you're having the internal battle going on. And she said, that's not the key. The key is to become aware of the thoughts. And once you say, am I being aware? You become aware. And now you get to be aware and focus on what it is that you truly say it is that you want to focus on. Because the awareness always was there. So were the thoughts. But the key is you're spending your time listening to the thoughts instead of becoming aware of the thoughts and then directing that conversation. So in other words, if I was to get angry, are you being aware, Ron? And I go, whoo, I was being angry. Angry thought. And I shouldn't say I was being angry, because that's the whole point of what she's talking about, is separating yourself from those thoughts and being able to say, anger just crossed my path. Not I'm angry, not dealing with anger, not dealing with the thoughts. It's becoming aware that anger, that emotion, or those thoughts just crossed my path. Now, because I'm aware, I get to say, is that serving me? And now I get to take control. As we talk about the conscious and the unconscious are those thoughts that keep popping up and they having their own little conversation. As I've said before, we make conscious and unconscious sound so like it's such so complicated in this huge theory. Folks, whatever you're focused on is conscious. You're consciously focused on it. Think about that. Everything else is unconscious. So the awareness is saying I'm going to go to the conscious and focus on what I believe best serves me at this point, versus allowing thoughts and the voices to make those decisions for me. Does that make sense? So anyway, so the bottom line is we have to become good at becoming aware and take control of these conversations. So anyway, back to what we're talking about here, which is the competitor. That is your competitor. You. And being aware and not allowing the thoughts to control you. And just like I shared with that gentleman, I have no competition. See, my competition, and if you guys want a competitor, if that's who you're looking for, it's always has been and always will be the person you look at in the mirror every single day. And it's not making them a competitor. It's challenging that person to be the best that they could possibly be. See, competition is what messes up a lot of people, because then you start to use those tags that the world gives you: winner, loser, quitter, all that other kind of stuff. It's like, no, I'm becoming aware of my thoughts, and I'm going to challenge those thoughts because I'm becoming aware of them and make the decisions that are best for me, that's going to move me in the direction that I believe is what's best to get me to the things that I desire. And it also keeps you from the fighting. Because you guys know what you resist persists. If I sit there and the mind says something, I sit there going, okay, I'm not going to even deal with that. I'm not going to, okay, whatever. And I'm fighting with that. I will be fighting with it. And we all are guilty of it. All day long, I can't believe this, and they said this and that, because you're having a battle that you can't win, because it's the mind talking, using all the different thoughts. It's got its own conversation going on. We just need to be aware that that's what it's doing. And now we can take control of the conversation. So anyway, so the bottom line of this whole conversation that we wanted to get to is understand it's not outside people. The outside world doesn't stop you from getting what you want. The outside world is not going to give you what you want. Well, they'll contribute. But the way that you attract the things that you truly want is you have to become aware of who your real competitor is, if you want to use that word. And it's the competition. If we want to use the competition, we can do awareness versus thoughts. There's a good one for you. And we're going to make sure, especially after this video, that awareness is the winner. So as soon as thoughts pop up that you don't think it's serving you, and if you do that all day long, are you being aware? 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 You'll stay aware, which will give you control of your thoughts. It'll give you more control of them, because then all of a sudden you're not fighting them. You're creating your own. And it'll move you closer to receiving the things that you say you want. And as you guys know, it ain't right. It ain't wrong. It is my opinion. Now, run on over to the app, which is over in the Apple Store, also into the Google Play. It's Simplified You, simplified with a D, and then the letter U, not the word U, Simplified You, and they are separated, simplified into you. Type that in the browser, download the free app, enjoy it. It'll keep you up to date with everything I've got going on. Folks, I know it'll add value to your life. Run over there and hit me up on the social medias, and let me know some things that maybe you got from this conversation or anything else that I've talked about, or there's things that you'd love for me to talk about, because I enjoy sharing, uplifting, and moving us all. Because as I've said, as we uplift each other, we change ourselves, we change our family, we change the community, then we'll change the world. So again, if you're not having fun, you should be doing something else. All right, folks, understand your greatest competitor is you, and you now have taken on that challenge and learned who is actually in charge, because now I'm aware. All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.